prediction. Es domingo y estamos en vivo.
Obviously, you're a little, aggravated by the line of questioning regarding Canelo.
I don't want to touch this, dirty, so bad, I don't want to touch his name.
I'm working on feeling the art of humbleness. Hey, you being with me, that's the reason why I'm crying, because I'm not that person no more. And I miss him. But sometimes I feel like a bitch. I don't want that person to come out, because when he comes out, hell is coming with him. And it's not funny at all. It must sound cool, like I'm a tough guy. It's just, I hate that. I'm scared of it.
It would be awesome to, being a great war. Maybe with a Mexican.
Let's go! Way
I have to put the joke.
No, hey.
Thank you for playing, man. I appreciate
Good
you.
timing, man.
Can't put predictions, man, but I definitely don't want to leave it to the judges.
Bien, mi gente, buenos días, wepa. Estamos activos and we are live, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, every Sunday recap. Los muchachos de Long Live Boxing en vivo podcast money, siempre en vivo, Marrero.
Son el Gringo Hicksa.
Yeah, hey, brother.
Ay, chihuahuas.
Be with us this morning, enjoying some well-deserved time with the family, but my brother and myself will break it down like it is, like it should be, like we do every Sunday.
Yeah, man.
That was a nice Saturday reaction.
Man, that was great. Yeah, it's the reaction. Thanks for all that joined and really appreciate it.
Indeed.
And the beauty of that is we were going for just the emotion, what we thought. We didn't even get to the point of where we they haven't even done the post interview yet, So we were finding out about there was some fireworks with that. The press conference hadn't happened yet. So we want to talk about all of it. So yeah.
Didn't give shit to Hopper. He said AJ knocked out Usyk.
Yeah, he did.
Love to give some shit to my brother.
Yeah, let me get that clip pulled up. For those that don't know,
and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I got Anthony Joshua winning the fight.
What? Is that the Robert Garcia impact?
By knockout.
Knockout? Yeah, that did.
What?
But no, you know what? It did happen. It was a very entertaining fight. Shout out to those in the chat. Good morning. Buen dia.
Buenos dias, G Funky.
Funky in the house, man. Good morning, brother. HLD. Man, great to have you back. And thanks for checking us out. We appreciate you big time. So several things that happened during the fight is one, entertaining. I did rewatch it and I feel comfortable with my scorecard. I scored it 8-4, and I'll just go through it because I feel like it was pretty easy for me to score. So I had it. The first 2 rounds I gave to Joshua. Then it was Usyk, and Usyk threw 8, and then I gave 8, 9 to because 9 was like the best round for Joshua to me. So it was like really kind of switching the tides. And then Usyk had one of the best bounce back, if you will, rounds that I've ever probably seen. Definitely in the heavyweight fight. Well, there was no knockdown either. So that was very impressive by him and the adjustments that were made and just the tenacity of both men and just sticking to it. So I gave, the rest of the rounds to Usyk, except the 12th round, I had a swing round. I did go ahead and give it to Usyk, but I could see why people would give it to Joshua potentially. They all put it out there. They went on the shield. So respect to both. HLD, got to heat my cafe.
Bustelo. Oye.
Hey, yo. Yeah.
I need some of that to wake me up today.
Yeah, man, for real. It's one of those Pedialyte water mornings, if you know what I mean. Here we go. So that's just my sentiments, brother. Like, how I'm feeling, how I took the fight in, how I consumed a very entertaining fight and a great afternoon, day, night of boxing. What's your thoughts, man? Do you still feel the same way about the fight, just overall, the entertainment, just the overall thoughts?
Well, first of all, I wanna let people know. A lot of people think that I give a lot of shit to Anthony Joshua. They don't respect his talent or what he's accomplished in the sport, and that's just not the case. I think the case is when you see someone that's been brought up with this hype and showing the world that he's the best heavyweight in the world. That happened a couple of years ago, loses to Andy Ruiz. And, his career went on and on and on. And now we got 2 fights, Usyk and Anthony Joshua. And for me, guys, it was more of the same. I think my brother Hopper, yesterday in reaction, he talked about if AJ does this, and that, he may have a good chance to win. But he did not do that in the first, 6, 7, 8 rounds. Very limited in punch selections. I still went back, guys. 9-3. I don't think the first round was Joshua. Joshua really didn't throw anything. It was very, I guess, Usyk did a little bit more, was more active. And if you count the amount of punches that were landed, you probably noticed that Usyk actually took the lead on that round. Second round, I might give it to Joshua. Joshua, 9th round. That's what we were expecting him early in the rounds. And, a couple of things were going in his mind. And around the 6th round, when I saw Joshua going into this corner, I saw that scared, kind of like innocent, like, where the hell am I? How am I with mentally when it comes to almost half of the fight? And he just didn't really seem to be there. I'm not sure if that kind of triggered him to be like, hey, listen, let me go back to my old ways and let me just try to see if I can just take some risks and be able to be a little bit more aggressive. And that's when we started to see Joshua like we're waiting for this, we're waiting for this, we're waiting for that, and all of a sudden we get that, but then he resets backs up again and then doesn't really capitalize and try to finish Usyk at that 9th round. We were hoping that AJ would come explosive in the 10th round, and then it just didn't happen. Allowed Usyk to get control into the fight, stopped the body punching he started initiated in the 9th round, and then just did the same thing he did for me in my eyes in the first 7 rounds. Pretty much trying to, not saying survive, but at least trying to stay active. And you guys know when Usyk was actually going counterclockwise, right, into his right, and doing his little, hopping, jumping up and down and just throwing punches. Some of those punches were not strong punches, but at least they were just landing somewhere and giving an opportunity for that right hand for Usyk, or the left hand as well. But other than that, I hate to say it because people are saying, man, you just don't give it up to him. You just don't. But you guys will understand how I feel. Like, you were there. He's coming. He's going. Just didn't do it. Or here comes again. Oh, he's throwing the combinations. He landed and he backs up again. Come on, Joshua. It's like one of those horses that starting to pull up in the final stretch, and you see him coming back, and all of a sudden he holds back. That's the way I feel about Anthony Joshua in some of these fights. And I think we had a very good topic about it yesterday, that, is it a concern that AJ, it's not able to get into the distance, and that's why he was holding most of his energy to make sure that he can finish the fight. Maybe that's it. He just doesn't have that championship, competitive, not competitive, but that championship strength at the championship rounds. That's what it matters. 10, 11, 12. This is where Usyk starts excelling. I know some people gave that 12th round to AJ. He did really good, but I think Usyk really closed the fight pretty strong and stole it just for a needle. So 9-3, my friend. That's I can probably go back and maybe try to be a little bit more. Give him an additional round, but it was just difficult. Some of those rounds were difficult to score, but some of them were very clear, and that was my thought on that. So 9-3, man, 9-3. That's the most I can do.
No, man, and that's how you see it. No, definitely. Definitely. We'll take a look at the numbers and also the scorecard. But until then, guys, send a shout out to my man, Mark Nash. Thanks so much. Peace and blessings. Absolutely, man. Peace and blessings on this Sunday. Man, appreciate it. HLD. AJ had a ton of adjustments in his fight. He got outskilled by a better, more determined fighter. And that's kind of thing what I think it goes down to for me. I think that it just goes down to skills pay the bills. I like the cliches and the simple phrasing, but I think here it definitely G Funky also says Usyk swept the championship rounds on my card. For mine as well. I know my brother Hopper had in his mind, he felt AJ was clear winner on the 12th round. G Funky, my second cup. Mark is on deck. Absolutely. So you know what? But that's where we're kind of coming from as far as our opinions. Let's take a closer look at the numbers.
I cannot believe my eyes.
Absolutely. So what I mean by that is, like, I can't believe my eyes. I can't believe. This comment here real quick. Salute, Bruce. To see you in the chat. Thank you, brother, so much. So taking a closer look, as far as like the total punches landed, so 712. Great job by Usyk applying the pressure. Just not enough punches thrown. But if you look as far as the accuracy, not bad by AJ overall. The jab, pretty decent amount of jabs that were thrown there. Percentage was pretty low, but for the most part, you know, that's kind of what's to be expected. I think there was good defense on both parts as far as deflecting and parrying those jabs that were put forth. The power shots, though, AJ had a good amount of power, 36%, you know, 101 out of 208 thrown. And then, you know, Usyk doing his thing, 131 out of 314. And then close to that number, that magic number of 50% power, we're looking for 42%. So if you look at the rounds, kind of like we talked about, you know, it's pretty close as far as punches landed. 6 to 7, 6 for Usyk, 6 for Usyk. So actually more punches were landed, but also it's about the effectiveness and power. That's the one thing, like, you can't always see by the numbers. It just kind of gives you a general idea as far as the comparison, but then you do start seeing a separation. It seems like the separation, to me, it happened with the introduction of the left hand by Usyk, and I think that's where things shifted. It seemed like he had it holstered like the first 2 rounds, and then he had the little quick check hook that he was landing, the right, and then also with that left hand, it made his mark. So he outlanded Joshua by 3 punches. Then it was 12-7, and then it was still close, but 7-4. So you do see that there was an increase. And look at that. The best round, how crazy is that? Joshua was 28-9. And it was funny, like, I don't feel like he was gassed out. He had such success. I felt like he was getting ready to set himself up for the stoppage, but instead, Usyk came out like a man on fire. 39 punches landed. That's just landed, my brother. That is insane. 23 in the 11th round, and then 17. Even though I know some people did give our man that last round. So when you see the numbers, what is that? What stands out to you?
Well, I mean, it stands out that Usyk did what he had to do, you know, you know, throwing punches when he needed. And if you look at the famous 9 round, 28-9, but the difference maker there was the body punches. When I watched you know, the first time I thought Usyk might took a break from the fight a little bit just to kind of take a breather. But the reality, when I watched it again, I said, no, it was the body punches that, you know, held Usyk back to 9 total punches on that round. And so that was just, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what was said in the corner, but I was expecting, and although I did want Usyk, I was very concerned in the 10th round that Joshua would come in as aggressive as he was in the 9th round. And it was totally the opposite.
Right.
10 round was the best round for Usyk after he came in from a completely, you know, destruction in the 9th round.
Now, I know that you kind of questioned as far as you maybe expected more. I would respectfully disagree with that. I thought that, you know, Joshua, you know, he'd look better than he did in the first fight. You know, I thought he looked better in the first. I felt like adjustments were made, and, you know, again, I gave him the first 2 rounds.
But here's my problem, Sean. I mean, you're a taller guy. You got a better reach. All right. And when you look at these numbers,
that was true.
I was expecting, all right, Joshua jabs into probably a 28 to 30%. You got to keep this guy in the distance. And all he was doing the jab is just to kind of check him, to kind of bring that power punch. But it wasn't effective at times. And when it was, he had landed a couple of combinations and then resets back again, instead of really being aggressive and try to pin him in the ropes, as he did a couple of times. At the end of the fight, at the later rounds, you know what's going to happen. They're going to start hugging. They're going to start dancing. However, I do appreciate that this was not a, you know, dancing fight where they were hugging. There were the dirty punches. It was actually settled right in the middle of the ring. At the end of it, yeah, they were both exhausted, and they were taking advantage of each other when they're on the ropes. You know, they're kind of taking a breather, and that's just normal. That's strategy. That's what's called being a mature boxer, experienced boxer inside the ring. You're taking some seconds to kind of, breathe in, breathe out, and then kind of
Yeah.
reset themselves and go back at it again. So, but honestly, the defense wasn't there either. Josh was just standing in there. He wasn't really controlling himself with the jab, and also he's getting hit a lot. And I can see that. And it wasn't anything. And then the second round, this is very important. The second round, I really acknowledge that, hey, listen, it wasn't all Joshua. It was actually Usyk that was just moving around so much that I think it was a little bit more difficult for Joshua to keep setting the pace with the jab, eventually to land that right hand, as usually he does.
Yeah.
And so a very difficult style of boxer. We all knew that coming into the first fight. And then coming into the second fight, I think the concern was, how was Usyk when it comes to mentally? And I think he was where he needed to be. I don't think, that time off, he was serving his country, did anything to him in terms of slow down, what he's capable of. And this guy maintained himself in shape. So, this was a very good fight, very exciting for the heavyweights. Nothing to take away from that. But, at the end of the day, you got to humble yourself and say, hey, listen, I tried. Some, boxers are very difficult style for others. Sometimes they got your number, and there's nothing you can do about that. Look at Chocolatito, concerns, Sorenserap. You know what I mean? It's just styles of boxing that it's very difficult, and I just don't think you can do a 3. And I think it's going to be exactly the same outcome we've seen in
No,
one.
I don't think there'll be a third fight. So just real quick, look at these comments we have. Yeah, definitely, definitely not. So my man Bruce Goss, all gas, no breaks. Thank you so much. Salute, brother. JC, yo, HLD Usyk outlanded AJ 10th, 11th, and 12th, 79-29. Yeah, you're right. That is pretty insane. For sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just that 10th round by itself, it's crazy. So G Funky has a great comment here. Joshua was gassed after the 9th rally and outworked in the championship rounds, in my opinion. That's very fair. And then the numbers would reflect that. So I agree with that, and great point. G Funky, exactly, from HLD. AJ has only enough to go all out once the late rounds and needs to make sure to get his guy out there, or he'll be done afterwards. And that's kind of where we're at. I really felt, though, again, I want to give credit to AJ. I felt like adjustments were made. I really like the adjustments as far as like the levels he was showing, as far as like going up and down. His punch placement was really good. And I really thought the most effective punch to me were when the inside, because I thought when he had middle distance, he had real advantages in that 9th round. But, the HLD's point, then he got tired. But shout out to Puerto Rican Rum, to the panel. Salute to you, brother. Thanks for tuning in. But the thing was, he couldn't continue it. So let's take a quick look at something here. We don't always like to look at the judges, but I think in this case,
Emotional, damn it.
we need to get over ourselves and take a look at it, what we see here. Because we talk about what we thought, but what did the judges have and why? Probably not the clearest picture, and I apologize for that. I probably should have done a little bit more research, but we have the one that was called into question was the one Glenn Feldman. And shout out to man G Funky, because he actually brought to my attention as far as like the judges that they were going to have. And he had it 113, 115 for Joshua. And so looking at the rounds that he had, that he gave it to Joshua, he gave Joshua 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9. Well, yeah, obviously 9.
10 and 11.
And he gave him the 12th round.
10, 11, and 12. I mean,
yeah, so,
are you serious giving the 10th round? I mean, just first of all, look at the CompuBox numbers. All right. If you don't want to really believe on those numbers, then just go back again and redo the fight. I have no clue what this guy was watching. I have no idea, because clearly, and everyone says it, one of the best rounds that Usyk had was the 10th round. So these are some of the things that gets the fans pretty scared.
Just mathematically, I don't know.
I don't understand.
I think that's where. Well, man, that's the first time I actually looked at his scorecard. In fairness, I was just kind of looking at other things, honestly, as far as the CompuBox. But man, that's a tough explanation right there, man. Like I'm not too sure about that one. But excuse me. Yeah. But you know what? I have some interesting things that I wanted to kind of share with everybody that's tuned in. I think it Also give some insight as far as like with the mindset of the fighters.
Like I said, man, you know who I want, man? I want Errol Spence.
Shut, Rolly. We don't care. All right, it's not about you right now, brother. It's not about you. Damn. All right, so this is what they were talking about. We were doing our response as far as the afternoon delights. We did the immediate rematch, and they were talking about how Joshua, and contain yourself, Manny. He grabbed the mic from Usyk, and Usyk looked a little confused. At one point, Joshua actually had the Ukrainian flag wrapped around him. I'm not sure, but this is like just the first part of what he said, which not the greatest moment, but then I want to get the aftermath where he's in the press conference, and I think things are kind of hitting him as far as like, you just can't beat this guy.
Tyson, Sonny Liston, Jack Dempsey. Oh, yeah, you don't throw combinations like Rocky Marciano. Because I ain't fucking 14 stone, that's why. I'm 18 stone, I'm heavy. It's hard work. This guy here is a phenomenal talent.
There's no doubt about that, but this is what stands out to me. And after that, I guess he got himself together, and he realized that, hey, it's really not about me. But then within the press conference, he was asked a tough question: was he proud of himself? Keep in mind, this guy's a champion, and in his mind, he feels like he can beat. Well, former. He feels like he can beat anyone. Two-time former champion.
Okay, I'll give
right.
Am I proud of myself? It's really, really hard for me to say I'm proud of myself. I don't feel anything. I'm upset, really, like deep down in my heart. Oh, man. Oh.
Okay, so I just kind of want to comment on that and thoughts from the chat as well, because, man, I really, that's why, it's not to make it about me, but when you overly surround yourselves and people tell yourself you're this and that, and I really believe that he was so psychologically conditioned that he would win this rematch. I really think that he believed he would win the rematch by making the adjustments like he did against Andy Ruiz. They went to the same place. He felt like, things were going in his favor from that standpoint, based off how he was reacting. I think that based off his reactions of how he responded, this loss is definitely hitting him a lot harder. Definitely a lot harder, and it's going to be tough for him to respond to it. But let's also go to the champion, who definitely deserves some praise here real quick.
Hey Tyson, back in ring, please. Back in ring.
All right, so yeah,
back in the ring, Colin.
I don't know what he wants. Also, I guess another quick shot of Usyk. This is pretty much summarizing Usyk, because he is English is not his first language or second, but he does he finds a way to let his personality come through.
How are you feeling?
I feel.
That's pretty much all his interviews.
I feel.
All right, so great stuff there. All right, so let's go ahead and get some other comments here, HLD. So split decisions are most mixed. Fucking lost. Take a fighter because they end up hearing someone saying that they won the fight. Yeah. I hear you on that, brother. All right, another comment here. We've all seen sore losers over negatively after a fight, but it's the first seeing a sore loser stealing the spotlight on over praising his opponent. Yeah, that was just a strange moment.
I don't know, man. I think it was a way for him to know that, listen, I've been in the peak of my spotlight, and I think this is my last chance to be at that spotlight. Although he's going to get other fights that are going to put him in there, but nothing's going to top the last few fights that Anthony Joshua had as it pertains to the spotlight. However, like every movie, series, soap opera, there needs to be an ending. And the villain at this case is Anthony Joshua. He is not going to go out of this two fights without being able to be Anthony Joshua. And so the only way to do that is be a sore loser, but also as well try to gain that spotlight back again, because whether you feel like you're disappointed within yourself or whether you feel like you did enough to probably win the fight, but maybe you understood that, hey, listen, this was a huge mountain to climb. And I tried keep climbing it, and I just never got anywhere. What am I going to do right now? I'm going to be able to try to still keep myself in the spotlight although he feels disappointed. Now I'm going to get emotional so that way people can say, oh, you know, Anthony Joshua. But the reality is you can never take the spotlight away from anyone. And, you know, Usyk is such a gentleman enough that it's like, you know what? You know, he was just in the ring around when he grabbed the mic and started going over. So, you know, Usyk's like, let him have it. I got bigger and better things that are coming up. And with that clip, Sean sets it all. I feel retire Fury. Do you see what I'm saying? That's all he needed to do to overshadow what Anthony Joshua was trying to do, take away the real highlight of the night. It's like burning the lead, like our brother Hopper said. Don't burn the lead. And the lead is the attention needed to be on Usyk all night long.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely get to these comments really quick. We got here. Major Key in the house, Major Key Boxing. Much respect, brother. Saludos, man. Thanks for taking time to check us out, man. Appreciate that. HLD also says AJ versus Wilder will have a major spotlight if Wilder wins in October. That's the thing. I think for me personally, I think that, you know, AJ is one of those guys that transcends because, man, again and again, they've proven that the UK fans, shout out to them, they support their guys no matter what, irregardless of how we feel about it. And then, again, I want to keep saying this because he did look better to me. He did look improved. In fact, after the first 2 rounds, and hell, definitely after that 9th round, I'm thinking like, man, they really need to have more camps together. Robert Garcia, salute to you, man. Like, I really saw.
No, I have to give it up. You're right on that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So I was thoroughly impressed in it. You know, hey, you know, I think if they would have gotten another one of those body shots and got him on the ropes, but that's the thing. Usyk made the adjustments and had one of the best bounce back rounds I've ever seen. You know, we having a different conversation, but you know, it was what it was. Also, I wanted to go ahead and even though I feel like this is kind of where his mindset is.
No, this whole thing, all of this, it's all about me.
And I'm referring to this guy.
Tyson Fury, aka the Gypsy King. I've just seen Joshua lose for the 2nd time to Usyk out of his depth. However, England has been relieved of its belts yet again, as usual. But there is a remedy and a solution that I can suggest. If you want those belts back, then send in the Gypsy Barbarian of England. Come on! Send me in. I will relieve the Ukrainian Dosser of his belts like I did the last Ukrainian Dosser. But it's not going to be cheap. If you want the best, then you've got to pay. It's going to be very expensive. So get your fucking checkbook out and I will relieve that Ukrainian Dosser of them belts. You know.
Wow. Okay. Oh, man. All right. So a lot of things to unpack there. One, just real quick, immediate reaction. Manny, does that fight happen? Yes or no? So you
Well,
have to
I mean,
use
you know,
here.
we knew he was gonna have something to say about it. You know, Gypsy King is Gypsy King wherever he goes. That's why people like him and love him, right? However, is that something that may happen? Both of the guys want it. Now,
yeah.
One of the things right now is it's going to be very expensive. You know, who's going to open up that checkbook and who's really going to pay for that? And definitely it could happen. I just don't like the mind games of it, but that's part of the soap opera. And he's got he's got about a week left.
Yeah, so that's a great point. So the WBC said he has until the 26th to
the 26th. So he's got roughly about, you know, few days to make 5 days to make a decision whether he's going to stay retired or he's going to come back. And most likely, you know, you have a couple of fights that are right now #1 challenger, but also as well you have some fights that right now for the undisputed, which probably gonna be ahead of the line. You know, if he decides to unretire, and you know, I believe that anyone that Sean El Gringo on this show puts into retirement, they don't come out. You put them very heavily on the ground in retirement. Do I want it to happen? That's a different question. Absolutely, you have got to get this undisputed heavyweight of the world on the line. And what a better way to do it than Gypsy King against Oleksandr Usyk. I mean, seriously, I don't think that the hype has to do anything. Usyk has proven that he can fight He's a great fighter. He's very difficult. He moves well. He's fast, great lateral moves, and he's a very active boxer in every single round. Does he have the power to maybe do some damage to Gypsy King? I don't know, but I think right now, hey, listen, the spotlight is what in stake in here, and clearly, Tyson Fury wanted to be part of the spotlight.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and say for me, I'll go ahead and put it out there, very transparent. I'm not a fan of Tyson Fury outside of the ring. I think a lot of it, the mind games are almost too much, to the point where, this is his life. This is in a span of last week, where he fired Sugar Hill, he hired his manager and retired with a 3-day span. That's just kind of how he rolls, man. So who knows if this will actually happen. But as far as in one of the things that they were mentioning on ESPN and Top Rank is they kept on putting down the groundwork that the possibility is there. There's obviously interest because, the money will be the challenge. But at the same time, the Saudis, hey, will step up. And that kind of goes to this comment. Fury is selling the fight only for the Saudi kings. And that's the thing. He wants that big payday. But will he get it?
Well, he had a really good payday against White, and didn't really do a whole lot on that fight. I mean, to be honest, everyone knew it was going to be one-sided. So he made a lot of money out of not a so good of a card. So, but he feels like he deserves to be on top of that, and I think HLD, you are absolutely right. He is definitely selling this to the people who's got the money, who they want to really see it, and they support Tyson Fury. So you got two individuals who, hey, the belts, it's what really matters at the heavyweight nowadays. The money, it's going to be there, but people want the scraps, and they want to see the undisputed, who is actually the best heavyweight in this era. And we want to see this, fan. We want to.
Yeah,
and I don't think we can think about right now who's one-sided, who's got the advantage or not. I think both have proven themselves that this heavyweight major fight should happen 2023.
Yeah, so the groundwork is set. The interest is there. The call-outs have been made, both sides as far as the fighters. But we've seen that before and nothing come to fruition. The thing that does obviously concern me is that we're dealing with Tyson Fury. And he said himself, it's going to cost you money. Get your checkbooks ready. So we know that not calling it a duck, you could price yourself out, especially because he's looking to cash out, which, I get it. He's had a long career and, he's earned that right. I can definitely say that for him. So, hey, let's keep it going, though. Let's keep it going. So good stuff on that. We'll definitely monitor and see where things go and see if that Fury gets his
payday. You want payday? I know that.
Yeah, because he told us, so we definitely do know that. So, what's your thoughts, brother? Any thoughts on the Top Rank card on Navarrate? Yeah,
Ooh, El Vaquero. This is I call it the zombie of the boxing. It's just so uncomfortable, so weird. And a lot of people are wanting to see more of much better opponents for Navarrete. People want to see unification. People want to see him moving up at the 130. People want to, hey, top ranks. Shakur Stevenson, Navarrete, 130. I mean, this is what people wanted to see. I'm not going to take away anything from the opponent. I think we all knew what was going to happen. But, man, Navarrete continues to be an all-around crazy, quirky boxer. And where he pulls it out no matter what, whether it's in the body, ouch, that one really hurt. And, I like the fact that he just doesn't give up. Doesn't matter how the opponent it is, how uncomfortable it may be. But Navarrete always seems to find a way to, get that W and get it in an impressive fashion the way he did it yesterday. So, I didn't see the entire full fight. Like, I was stuck to the TV. Right. I see back and forth, but it was because I knew for a fact what Navarrete was going to do. I thought he would knock him out a little bit earlier. But these guys were both trained well. They had chances, they had opportunities, but at the end of the day, Navarrete did what I expected he was going to do.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people probably do feel that way if they didn't see the fight in full. seeing the fight in full, his opponent Baez, I thought that he was winning every round. Honestly, I thought he had a great game plan. His execution, he was looking to win. He wasn't looking there just to be an opponent or just survive. He was taking chances, had an amazing game plan, was really taking it to Navarrete and kind of negated his power until that inside hook to the body, and then that that left hook to the inside to that kidney shot, and this totally shut down his system. I was really I was disappointed in the way that Navarrete showed up. I know they said that his camp was literally a fat camp. Now, we talk about how much he's worked hard before. This is the longest layoff he had. It was 10 months. Going from before in 2019, he had fought 5 times in 9 months. He was a machine. And part of that reason he's a machine is because it's so hard for him to recuperate from those fat camps. And they were already talking about him moving up, even though he said he's going to stay at that same weight. Which is good for me and good for boxing because there's so much talent there at 126. We talked about that before. But, again, that's just our opinions on what we've seen. Let's take
I cannot believe my eyes.
But here I actually can. So you look at the actual, remember, it did go to the 6th round, Eduardo Baez. Hey, man, the brother did his thing. It was a knockout. He threw 293. Compared to Navarrete 391. Baez is actually known for throwing more punches. He averages 90, and the division of 126.
Well, he has to. He's not a power puncher. He doesn't.
He has to. Yeah, he
power
doesn't
to do some damage. So I think the only way he can do it, and that's what one of the things I expected. And I know we didn't break it down earlier on this. Never gave a lot of talk about it because a lot of people felt like 0 chances for Baez to win. But I think the strategy was to try to outbid them, with heavy punches, as many as possible, because there's no power behind it. And if you wanted to really get on the cards, you needed a knockout for him. But at the other hand, if you outbid them when it comes to punches landed, then that was Baez. And and I think a lot of people felt that way. That's why the fight wasn't like all that.
Well, I mean, again, it was eye-opening for me for something that was supposed to be, even though Baez was ranked number 8 on the WBO, and it was looked at as just kind of a warm-up fight, him the bounce back fight, a guy with lack of power, but the tenacity, the volume, he was looking to win. But again, the power is a great equalizer, as our brother Harper would say, and he definitely did shine and come through there. So kind of looking real quick as far as like the numbers, it's kind of even the first round, pretty much even throughout the fight. There's no big differential as far as punches landed. So this is one of the times where the CompuBox don't tell the entire story, and that's the beautiful thing about numbers. I mean, they tell you the result without telling you the full result. That's why you have to dig deeper, look at the fight, and kind of understand where things are going. But again, Navarrete. Man, well, the blueprint is out there, man. The blueprint is out. You can see, but the thing is, he's still Navarrete, those quirky uppercut, you-can punches that he lands with accuracy. He finds a way to overcome, and he overcame himself, honestly. But I want Eduardo Baez to make sure that he get his respect and his flowers, because he definitely did his thing for sure.
Navarrete, and I talked to a lot of people about Navarrete, and I tell them, how do I feel about that? And I am very highly, really highly, when it comes to him. And when I talk about him with the excitement, people are expecting more. That it kind of disappoints those who are waiting. But here's the thing, okay? It only takes one simple mistake, and that's the problem. You can be outboxing him 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds. You're going to make one mistake, and you're going to pay for it. Can he do that against a Shakur? Can he do that against Oscar Valdez? Can he do that against all these guys at the 130?
No.
You got to watch out. But still, one mistake, Navarrete will capitalize and will do what he just did last night.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say he looked so bad, and I thought I would never. He looked bad enough where I'm sorry. Dogbo may actually even consider that third fight. He looked that bad. But I mean, don't do it, Dogbo, if you're listening.
Right.
Please don't. But yeah, overall, I mentioned this before. Shout out to G Funky on show. He was on there with Shoeshine, doing like a good prediction show, call in. And I said that there was, who could beat him. Man, I think there's several guys. That version. I mean, that's the thing. If he gets himself in shape, gets a nutritionist, really focuses.
I don't want to call it. Well, I don't want to call it in shape, guys. I just want to call it more motivation. Because if you know that you have everything against your opponent, and you know that you're a heavy favorite, and you know that you can outbox them in talent, in talent and everywhere around, you don't really prepare to the best. But when you have someone across from you, and it's a huge challenge, a huge step up. I want to see that. We have yet to see that against Navarrate. He's fought some great guys, but we have yet to see them to that A+ caliber of opponent, and I think that's where he is going to be at his best. The second thing about his body will not hold up. Absolutely not. That's why he wasn't in 100% in shape, but look what he did. Now, once he get to a weight that he's comfortable, I would say 135, because he's going to keep growing, but at 130 to 135, this is where we either see the real Navarrete that people are expecting, or whether is it, oops, we all knew what what was going to happen, or we all thought what he was going to do when it comes to, not being that to the next level.
Yeah, no, it does make sense, and I think you're right. They even kind of alluded to that he exceeded his expectations himself. I mean, he felt he wasn't expected to win that dogbo fight. People forget, and then he dismantled him and destroyed him that second fight, and kind of went on from there. And they said even they mentioned that at the ESPN telecast, like in the second fight, he showed up in glasses, sunglasses, and you see that in the press conference is a different person. And he is, and you got to be concerned about a guy that his focus isn't there. But one thing that will focus you and humble you is when you have a challenge in front of you. So does he really want to be that guy, or if not, he's just going to capitalize and cash in and cash out? We'll see. But the things are lining up to where 130, Shakur Stevens would annihilate him, and I felt like even the best version of him would get annihilated. But I think there's enough guys at 126 create enough problems and could definitely beat him with that version. But again, it was an off night, and he still came up victorious because of that talent. So we'll see where he goes from there, and I'm looking forward to it. One thing I also wanted to kind of touch on too, and the co-main, and overall it was a pretty entertaining card. Is like I thought it was good back and forth action, but the thing that was, the judges were judges, right? So the thing that surprised me is how lopsided they had the scoring for a fight that I thought was pretty close. So let's take a closer look at Giovanni versus Luna.
I cannot believe my eyes.
So yeah, when you pull these scores up and looking at the numbers, so overall punches landed by Giovanni 544, 186 landed, punches thrown 679 were thrown. So Luna definitely did his thing. And you look at the punch totals overall, I mean, back and forth, I mean, unbelievable looking at those numbers. And it's so minimal as far as the differential. I guess the main differential, see, like the Luna landed more, actually. He landed 28 compared to 16 in that fourth round. He landed 37 in that seventh round. I mean, these are crazy numbers. And then, in the championship rounds, obviously, they were worn out, but they had thrown so many punches and taken so much damage at that point. But then to have the scorecard be so lopsided, it's disappointing. You don't want to make it about the judges, but again, you got to hold these judges accountable when they have these scorecards that come out where it looked like they were filled out the night before. You're not doing any favors for these fighters and for the sport in general, because you just can't trust what you're going to get, And I know it was called out before as far as, needing to improve and holding these guys accountable. But when will it happen? I don't know. But I just know for me as a fight fan, I just expect more and want more. And hopefully we definitely get it. But yeah, it was a great night of boxing all the way around. And also I want to shout out to Lipinets came in. He was a replacement. I mean, that was an all over the place kind of thing. We mentioned Brandon Lee. He got knocked down, but he came back and he won a close decision. So shout out to him. And he continues to ascend, things to work on, but he'll definitely get there. Figueroa didn't show up. He was talking all that crap about Broner and mental health and, back and forth, and not even to get into that, but to call somebody out and, be so critical of what they did by not showing up, and then you don't show up, I think, physically. And Lipinets, he took an opportunity and he actually got the stoppage late. I mean, Lipinets was dominating. There was just no output. And that's what kind of the thing that I've had with, and I'm talking about Omar, not Brandon. So Omar Figueroa, he never ever worked on his defense. Like, you know, he's always tried to outwork people, which he usually did. And, you know, he's got that wash and wear kind of thing. But that eventually when you move up in competition, you know, that they crack that defense, you know, you get more and more wear and tear, and then eventually you just can't bounce back. So I want to take a quick look at the numbers, but man, he had one of the most disappointing. I'll say Navarrate was disappointing, but he still won. Figueroa's got a soul searching to do. But let's take a quick look at the numbers.
I cannot believe my eyes.
So yeah, when you look at Omar Figueroa, you know, 475 punches landed. Lipinets won by a technical knockout, 517. But look at each round. It's crazy. Lipinets set the tone early. First 2 rounds. Look at the differential, my brother. First round, 21 compared to 12 for Lipinets. 38 that second round, just working the body, just going, you know, working them. 21 in that third, 26, and just single digits. And I'm not talking about high single digits. I'm talking about 4, 1, you know, just total domination. And then the total number is 172 landed by Lipinets compared to 44. And that's the fight just going 8 rounds. And you look at the power numbers, which our brother Harper always comments and talks about, 47% for Lipinets. What a complete dominant performance and step up for Lipinets, which for the most part, I'll go ahead and say, anytime I mention Lipinets, pretty much as I'll say, hey, that's the best win for Boots. But what is that really saying? Says a lot now. I mean, to me,
yeah.
So, you know, props to him, and definitely comment here in the chat. HLD. We've all seen sore losers overdo it negativity, but after the fight, but the first seeing a sore loser still in the spotlight, praising his opponent. Oh, okay, sorry, that was from earlier.
Oh yeah, Usyk, Joshua.
But that was still a great comment. HLD. HLD said Lee's being hurt and underdeveloped by fighting weak competition in comparison to Zayas, for example. Weak competition breeds weak fighters. Man, that is a hell of a comment, man. I'm glad I went back and found it.
Powerful.
Yeah, that's right on the money. Speaking of our man, our brother from another mother, Xander, he was out there representing with Cotto. Look at him, man. I never seen Cotto smile like that before.
Now we are smiling. They are smiling. Great job.
That says it all right there.
That was fantastic.
That was fantastic. So I know
and not only that, it's really good to see Xander organically. Okay? Think about this. Organically. Not because he wants to get the attention of the people, because he doesn't care about that. He can talk the talk, he does walk the walk. But being present and being able to, he doesn't live in Puerto Rico, but he's still active with the community out there. And he was able to join. It was a basketball, Puerto Rico League for basketball is the finals.
Right.
City of San Germán against the City of Bayamón, champions Bayamón. And being present there. And the love he received from the videos, from the interviews, from all the activities he had there. It's good to see him participating, not to get people to get to know him because they know who he is, but reaching out and hanging out with the people they support him. That's a super champion caliber. So humble enough and organic because it just kind of happened. And right after the fight, we heard it. I'll be there in Puerto Rico. So that's really good for him. Different comparison, but I think slowly but surely we will continue to see him developed to the level of, and right now is a huge accomplishment. Regional Nabo gets him up in the ranks, and let's see who will be his next opponent to continue to develop him where it needs to be slowly, despacito. Don't start pushing him into now thinking the Charlos, into not taking the Fundora. And I'm hearing Fundora. Hey, do you think Xander would be Fundora? Listen,
no,
there's a huge difference, and I'm not saying in talent. There's more. Fundora's been there for a while. Xander is just working his craft. Let him work. Don't.
Hey, yo, man, absolutely, man. I love it. Standing 8 EnVivo. Shout out, brother. Much love. Man, I love it. HLD screaming at you, brother. Speaking the truth. Xander is organically not appropriating the attention from Los Boricuas like the fake.
Uberlanga. That's a good one.
Wow.
I call him Malanga. Uberlanga.
Wow. I like that.
Wow.
Hola to the queen, Esme.
Esmeralda.
Right, man. Photographer de la gente in the house, man. Shout out to the queen.
Oh yeah, but I wanted to make a quick point,
absolutely,
Sean,
brother.
Because I've always been, and this is related to Omar Figueroa. I've always liked the kid. I just felt like 147 pounds is just very too difficult. But man,
I agree with that.
3 losses in a row. It's like,
it is 3.
Where is he going from now? Ugas, Ramos, and now Lipinets. I mean, I think he had a legitimate chance to beat Broner. But man, last minute replacement. I get you didn't have a chance to study. You didn't have a chance to really get to learn about your opponent as good as when you have time to it. I get all those things, but where does it go from now? Very disappointed, and I know he is, but did he gave us the best he had? Is there anything else for them? Is he going to be now? I don't want to say gatekeeper, but is he going to be that person who's gonna, try to open and carve the path to the youngsters? But you can't do that to the other youngsters because you got. I mean, I don't know, man.
Well, you can't be a gatekeeper if you're not by the gate.
Well, you're not by the gate. I get it. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like just be that step. Or let's call it just a step onto those that are just coming below him. Does that make sense? So
no, definitely. Absolutely. No, I hear what you're saying, man, and they're from Texas, man. I remember.
I know, I'm telling you.
So obviously I remember and him coming up, and he was wearing the Texas A&M shorts and everything, and oh man, he was must see. So I hate to see it come out the way it is, but that's the thing, when you don't have defense, I don't care how good your offense is, they're gonna catch up with you. They're gonna find a way to beat you, and that's kind of where he's at, and I hate that he were at that point of his career. So great stuff there. And I also want to send a shout out to everybody that's in the house.
Xander, but I do want to shout out to the casuals, like as you mentioned. And
I want to send out a shout out to casuals and just everybody in general. And thanks for everybody that takes time to speak with, listen to us every week. Definitely do appreciate it. We love it, my brother and I. Again, Harper couldn't be here. I would say he wouldn't be here. Maybe he wouldn't. I don't know. The rest looks so bad. But yeah, he definitely will be back, and we'll be back next week, every single week. And we're brought to you by the power of you guys. We love it. And we like to start our day with this and we look at it starting off the week too. And nothing gets me more fired up than, the entrances and the pageantry and the beauty of boxing. And I love it. So, that's going to be our new outro now. There's no better way to end than is to start. The beginning is the end for us because it's just another chapter of another show that'll be coming soon, and you guys are a big part of that. So thanks again, much love, and let's hear it from the man. Rest in peace to the king, Vicente. We're out. Much love.
Top recording artist from Mexico, Vicente Fernandez.
Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero aprestad y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Ciñe, oh patria, tus sienes de oliva, de la paz el arcángel divino, que en el cielo tu eterno destino por el dedo de Dios escribió. Mas si osare un extraño enemigo profanar con su planta tu suelo, pienso, patria querida, que el cielo un soldado en cada hijo te dio, un soldado en cada hijo te dio. Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero a prestar y el gridón,
y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón. Y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
Thank you very much.